All right, here we go. Hey everybody, how you doing? I am here with my buddy Mike Alevras, and normally we do this over Zoom, and I shouldn't say normally because I only had one other podcast with Jake before this. But Mike and I had scheduled to do this over Zoom, and it just so happened, as luck have it, Mike is in the area and decided to stop by the gaming office to hang out, have fun, and just have a little chit chat. So
live in studio.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Right, large and in charge. So for everybody who doesn't know Mike, we're going to let Mike kind of introduce himself. He's going to tell a little bit about what he's doing now, because you've kind of moved from just being a DJ and running your company, Hudson Valley, to doing a lot more.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of everything.
And you know what? Go ahead, tell everybody, say hi, introduce, and tell them.
Hey, what's up? If you don't know, my name is Mike Alevras. I'm located in the Hudson Valley of New York, about 60 miles north of New York City. And I've been a professional DJ and entertainer for 25 years. I've co-hosted and co-produced the International DJ Expo, DJX's nightlife events with Daryl Jacobson, who was your first podcast guest.
Yeah, January.
I love talking about games and interactive stuff you can do at your events. And our company's growing. We're not just DJs anymore. We have a full rental service company, a photography division, and it's been really, really great the way we've come out of the pandemic and how things are building for us.
Now, when we first met, well, actually, I met you before you actually met me, because you were doing something in Jake's seminar, which I found to be one of the most hilarious games I've ever seen. And this was the one where you would put a swimming flipper on your foot, you would put a sombrero on your head, and then you had tortillas, and you would have to take the tortilla from the flipper and throw it up and catch it in the sombrero. And that was hysterical. That was the first time. I don't think it was the first time we met, but I think it was one of the first times I saw you. I don't even remember what year.
That was 2016 at the DJ Expo, and the only reason I remember that, it's the first year that I entered and competed in the DJ of the Year, which Jake and I had since become the hosts of and call it Entertainer of the Year. But I was a finalist for DJ of the Year, and I had a game that I was going to show in the competition Wednesday night. And then I had a game for Jake's seminar, and that was the game that I showed in the seminar. And I've subsequently showed it at other trade shows and gatherings, but it's a popular game. It's really funny.
All right. So, and I'm sure that wasn't the first time I saw you, because I've been going to that show from, I think, 2007. So I've seen you after that. That was just one of the first things I remember you doing, and that was hysterical. And I think that was the year that we had actually first met and moved on from there. So we're going to talk a little business first before we talk about games. And I wanted to ask you about going from being a sole DJ, just by yourself, into a smaller company, and now working with the HV Event Group and becoming a multi-op with a multifaceted operation. How did that transition happen, and what's the difference between then and now?
Well, I'll go back to the beginning and give the cliff notes. I got started in DJing because my next door neighbor was a DJ, and I was coming out of high school, and I needed a job to make some money before I went to college. Hey, I'll come work for your DJ company. And he already had a multi-op. So I came in, got exposed to the industry, fell in love with it, and even after college continued to DJ. So I was always around a multi-op. And then Josh and I met, we worked together. Josh eventually got out of the industry for a little while, and I kept DJing, and then I was a solo op. It was just me. I only concerned myself, I want to book me. And I slowly added like one crew of guys to work with me. Josh and I reconnected, and again, it became a multi-op, and we built the company. And the reason it's become a multi-op, because the reason it's become multifaceted with different divisions, was basically out of necessity. We were always a DJ company first, and when the pandemic happened and caused everyone to stop DJing because you couldn't go into catering halls, you couldn't book parties, what we ended up realizing very quickly was that there's a need for people that wanted to throw parties on their private property. So we took the plunge. We bought 8 tables, 80 chairs, and a tent, threw up a social media ad we booked 5 events from it in the first week, and we never stopped. And now we have a warehouse, a box truck, hundreds and hundreds of chairs, flatware. We have it all. And then just through contacts and networking, we met a photographer who's incredible and wanted to work with us. He's now our director of photography, and we have our own photography division. So some of these things just happened by chance, and some of them were, necessity. We had to do it. And we were very lucky, and we've worked really hard, but we've been very fortunate.
So are there days when you're working in the job that you have now, in the capacity you have now, that you just sit back and wish for the simpler days of that one or two DJ outfits where you could just run out to a wedding and come home?
Yeah, because there are days where I'm at our office, and instead of me spending time talking to the clients of weddings or bar mitzvahs that I may have coming up in the next few months, I'm answering calls from staff or answering questions about things that need to be getting done, or talking to multiple vendors. Like, I could spend my entire day doing everything but the specific party I might be working in the next month. Right. And I go through days like that. It happens all the time.
I know, I get it. So you also do game consulting. I'm totally switching gears. You also do game consulting for one of the minor league teams in your area, right?
Yes. Where I live, in my area, we're the home of the full season single A affiliate of the New York Yankees. The team is called the Hudson Valley Renegades. They've been in our area since 1994. I'm trying to remember my history. And their PA announcer and one of their vice presidents also happens to be a mobile DJ in my area. And we've gotten to know each other very well over, the last 10, 12 years. He invited me to come pitch ideas, brainstorm with him, his fun team, and the staffers that develop the activities and games that take place on the field in between innings. Because in minor league baseball, the game's in the way. Right. Baseball game's in the way. We got to do other stuff to entertain the fans. And I helped them develop and pitched some of the games that I've used at corporate events, barn bat mitzvahs, at our private events, and we would expand them or modify them to fit the baseball stadium layout. But it's proven to be a lot of fun. I do it every year, sometimes twice a year, where we just sit down and we hash out and brainstorm ideas. We let the interns pitch ideas to us and then pick them apart and try to come up with something new or unique. And there have been numerous games that I've presented to them that have ended up going on the field and been successful. There are games that I've suggested to them that we attempted on the field and bombed gloriously. But there's also been games that the interns or the baseball team staff has pitched that I've listened to and talked with them about and said, oh, there's a way I can use that at my private events, for my mobile events, my wedding, my bar mitzvahs, my corporate events, things like that. And so it's been mutually beneficial that, I can help them out, they can help me out, and it's a cool gig.
So I want to talk to you about one of the games, which I think just about everybody knows what my favorite game to play is, and that's Heads and Tails.
Love it.
And I originally got that from you. You got that from Robbie Britton, who is down south.
Well, Georgia. I got it. You got it from me. I got it from Jake. Jake got it from Robbie Britton. Okay. I don't know the genesis beyond Robbie Britton. So the game is sensational, and it's mind-blowing how easy it is to play.
Love it.
And how quickly guests and audience members get sucked into it effortlessly.
Yes.
So it's a game where I usually don't travel anywhere without a quarter. That happens with me the whole life. Yeah.
And you had said when you presented that game, when I saw you present that game at the Expo, you said that was one of the games that you did with the crowd at the baseball field.
Yeah, we've done it at the stadium with thousands of fans in attendance. We don't do it during the game, between the 9 innings, but when we have fireworks nights, once the final out of the game is completed, there's usually like a 10-minute gap between the players leaving the field, the fireworks company preparing the fireworks and putting out some safety tarps so our field doesn't get damaged, before the fireworks show starts. So it's a perfect game to entertain 2,500, 3,000 fans.
So anybody who's watching,
yeah.
if you have crowd of 2,500 people, even more, this game is so great. Look through the channel, or scroll through the Facebook page, or look through my YouTube channel, and you'll find Heads and Tails. And if not, just shoot me over a message or an email, and I'll send you the link right to it. So, where do you find, and this, I love asking this question to all the gamers, where do you find your inspiration when, you know, it just, to me, sometimes they just come to me. I'll be scrolling through something, I'll be like, that's going to make a great game at a bar mitzvah, or that's going to make a great game at a fire department party. Where do you think of your ideas?
So it's changed, and there's been a progression. Every couple of years I find a new source or a new spot where I like getting my ideas from. One of the first ones I utilized was when I was in high school. I was a Boy Scout, and I went to summer camp as a Boy Scout, and then I eventually became a camp counselor and worked at the summer camp. And there would be skits and games and team building and activities and things that either I participated in or I learned. And so I started harvesting those ideas to see if I could come up with stuff that could be good game material. And then it progressed to, let me start thinking back and watching old clips of TV shows like Double Dare. What can we pick apart about Double Dare and turn into a game, or any of those kind of competition shows? And then I discovered websites there. And here, you want a golden nugget? There are websites about residence life at college campuses.
Oh, yeah.
So for the students that are the RAs on a floor in a dorm, there are websites about activities and events and theme things and games and activities for the RAs to do with the students that live on their floor. And I started harvesting that stuff for ideas. Yep. I'll walk through a store like Five Below or the dollar store, and I'll get ideas. And then there was a run for about 2 years where I was finding ideas, not at Five Below or the dollar store, but in the grocery store. And I was using everyday like grocery items, whether it was like dried pasta or soda cans or sponges or salad tongs. And I was just pulling games out of the grocery store. So it evolves, and it just, whatever I'm always looking for, is that a game, or can I use that prop? And what I do now is, when I go into a store like Five Below, and if I see a goofy toy or contraption, I don't even care if I have the game created yet.
You just buy it.
I want the thing, because the thing that you play with is cool and will make a game to work around.
That's my next question. I'm going to leave you segued perfectly. So, how many games or game parts do you actually have in storage that you have never used?
I know off the top of my head at least 5.
5? I got like 45.
Well, to be fair, there are lots of them where I've seen the item and I didn't buy it right away, but I took a picture of it on my phone so I can remember and search it later to buy it later, whether it's in the store or online at a shopping website or an online retailer. So I may not have bought it at the moment, but it's in the hopper, like it's in the arsenal, like to think about later. Yeah. But physically, the products, on hand, I've got at least 5, maybe 7 game props that have not been touched.
I'm sure you got more than that.
I'm sure I do. Those ones I know off my hand.
2 years ago, 2 Christmases ago, one of my kids thought it would be funny, and they bought me a beer belt.
Okay.
Where you can put 6 cans or 6 bottles of beer. And I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, I'll never use it. And I put it away. And I was doing some cleaning, and I came across it a few months back, and I looked at it. And the second I looked at it, a game came to mind, because I had just gotten done doing a game we were cooking up a game in the kitchen with ping pong balls. Yeah. And I was then like the next day or 2 days later, I'd start cleaning through some of my stuff, and I come across this beer belt again. And I was like, oh my God, I already got a game for this. So I ripped it out, I put it on, and I started bouncing ping pong balls around, trying to catch them in the glass. Right? I'm like, this isn't working right. So I put some in there, and then probably a week later, I posted it up on the channel.
Well, so I can give you an example like that. I was in Five Below, and on the shelf, they had these small foam rockets that are no more than 6 inches long. And they've got the rubber loop, and you pull them on your finger and they take off. And I looked at them and I said, I don't know what the game is going to be, but I'm buying these. And I bought 10 packs of it. That gave me 20 rockets. And without even any effort, the first game was, oh, I've got a bunch of hula hoops that are going to go on that event. Throw a bunch of hula hoops on the floor, draw a line, and have the kids shoot the rockets and try to land them in the hula hoops. And then it became, oh, we can put 3 red Solo cups on top of a table and try to knock them down. And there's so many variants on how I can repurpose the rockets. I have 4 different games with those little rockets, but it all became, that looks cool. And who wouldn't like to pull a little rocket and shoot it off your finger? I'll make the game
I
later.
have no idea what to do with it.
Right.
But I know if I sit there and stare at it long enough, I'm going to think of something.
A lot of times, Todd, for me, it's what is the, for lack of a better phrase, what's the punchline? What's the money shot action of the game? The tortilla game, the hook of that game is taking the tortilla and flipping it into the sombrero. However else you structure the game, whether you're doing it with teams or a person that's a runner to go get the tortillas and bring them back, is it the first team to get how many tortillas in the sombrero or the most in an amount of time? None of that matters. I always find, what's the hook of the game? The hook of that game is flipping tortillas into the sombrero, either for the yeah. So a lot of times for me, it's what is the entertaining action of a game, and then building the game around what the hook is, what the fun part is.
Right.
And that's kind of like how my brain works when I'm developing a game.
That's kind of like when I don't want to get too far off the subject, but kind of like when we're mixing music, we're trying to find the hooks in the songs that are really going to grab our dancers on the dance floor and just pull them in. So they're like, woo. And it's the same way playing games. So before I change gears here, I'm going to ask you, can you have too many games? Or better question. When you're at an event and you're about to pull a game out and then another game pops in your head, can you ever have too many games up here?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And you can also have too many games with you on site at an event. If we're talking about specifically mobile DJs and private events, or if you're even talking about if you're planning a corporate event or a team building event, and you can over prepare and have too many games. I used to bring, a big trunk with tons of props that might have 15, 20 games in it, knowing full well that I'm probably only going to get to play 4 or 5 or 6 of them, depending on how the event goes. What I've done now is I've kind of restructured how I prepare for my corporate events, my barn bat mitzvahs, and through talking to the client, talking to the guest of honor, finding out the theme, what they're looking at having take place at their event, I will try to bring games that will fit that crowd, that event specifically. And the way we have it set up in our warehouse, instead of having full trunks of 15 games and they're identical, we have a bunch of empty bins, but on the shelves, it looks like you're going shopping at Five Below or Party City, where, if you want dice, they're in that bin. If you want wooden tongue depressors, they're in that bin. If you want dice, they're in that bin. And you literally pull out the bin, grab the supplies you need, and put them on your go bin that you'll take to the event. So it cuts down on having too many games with you on site, and you can harness. And I always bring at least 1 or 2 more than I've told them I'm going to do, just to have something in reserve if I need it.
Yeah, I will bring 15 different games to an event, knowing I'm only going to use 4 or 5, but I will make a list of the games I want to play in the order that I want to play them according to that particular client, how much fun the game is, if the client requested that game or not. So yeah, because I used to do the same thing, and I would go, let's play this. No, this one's going to be more fun, or this one. So yeah, we make a list of things now. All right, so now I want to shift gears, and I want to talk about the Expo, because this is one of your big things, and Jake, and I love to go down and hang out with you guys. Just to watch you run around like nuts and watch Jake run around like crazy, doing all the behind the scenes things, because even as DJs, we know that running around behind the scenes is probably more work than actually the event itself. But when you're the DJ and you're going down to a convention for DJs and you can sit back and watch how they run it, it's just amazing the way that you and Jake actually work so well together. So what has it been like for you as being an attendee and then going into the co-host role?
It's been incredible. It is something that I'm incredibly honored by, just really truly blessed to be given that opportunity. I mean, Jake was asked to take over when Mike Walters stepped down from hosting the Wednesday night DJ of the year, the Monday night kickoff party. And immediately, I think I was Jake's second phone call outside of maybe his wife when he got asked to take over that role. He asked me if I would be his co-host, and I was stunned, and I, without even hesitating or knowing what I was getting into, yes. And it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made for my career. Being able to give back and participate and hopefully give DJs a fun night, a fun evening, give back to the industry, inspire someone. I mean, when I was an attendee, I can count on a hand 7, 8, 9 people when I started going in 2000, 2001, 2002, and I was just starting. I can count 7 or 8, 9 people who were the people that influenced me. And I'd sit in the chairs in a seminar or be in the event rooms where the clubs, where the parties are. And I'm like, wow. And I said to myself, do I have what it takes to be up there? Or I want to be up there like them. I want to do that. And it's come full circle that now most of those people who I looked up to are now all friends.
Yeah.
I can call them at a moment's notice. But I can give back because in my mind, and I've said this to people who've asked me before, I was in that crowd once, inspired by people that were giving back and sharing ideas and creating a fun event. To me, there's now another Mike sitting in that crowd who might be thinking the same thing.
Absolutely.
And so it's been incredibly gratifying. And it actually, I've noticed for my events, me personally, and my performance and my emceeing and my microphone skills have improved exponentially. Maybe it's the confidence of I'm not scared of being in front of other DJs who are going to judge me.
The most critical people in the world.
And so
you know who you are.
I felt like that personally, my emceeing skills for my own events has gotten better. My clients have reaped the benefit of that because I'm not intimidated or I'm not scared anymore. It's yes, I want to host that. I want to be in that. I want to have that microphone in my hand and just create a fun evening. It's been awesome. I wouldn't trade it. But as a co-host, co-producer with Jake, there's lots of things at those trade shows, especially the expo, that I don't get to see anymore, or I only hear about in passing because I don't have time to be there. I know in the 6 years that Jake and I have been the co-hosts and co-presenters, I've seen the exhibit hall where all the gear is twice. There's usually weeks where I go the entire week and I do not step foot in that room because I don't have time.
Right. So now on our channel here, on my channel, I have, not only DJs, not only entertainers, but I also have peer counselors out there. I know there's teachers out there, both regular school teachers, phys ed teachers. We have some youth ministers out here that hang out with us. So what I want you all to take away from, what Mike and I are talking about right now is, if you want to improve your game, if you want to improve the way you talk to your peers or to your students or, to the kids that you minister, is get up and do a presentation in front of your peers, because that will exponentially improve the way that you deal and the way that you talk to those people that have given you your focus. And it will. And I've gone on stage in Atlantic City to perform in front of my peers. And like I was just joking about before, knowing how critical we are, and not in a bad way, well, not always in a bad way, right? And that has improved the way that I perform in front of my clients. So if you have that opportunity, take that opportunity, because it will help you in what you're doing. So do you remember what your first seminar was?
I do. You mean one giving?
Giving your first seminar.
Well, the first seminar I gave at a national DJ convention was also in 2016. So it was the first year I was a finalist in DJ of the Year. It was the first time I gave a presentation at a national trade show. And so I basically took a chance and dove into the deep end all in once in 1 year. And I do remember that seminar. It was about how to effectively host a trivia night, but also to turn your trivia night into more weekend work. And I put a lot of time and a lot of effort into it. I was terrified, like the PowerPoint might screw up or nobody shows up, but it went well. I felt great about it. I was glad I did it because since then I've been co-hosting and co-producing the nightlife events and involved in Jake's game seminar. I haven't had time to get back to presenting solo, and I have one in mind, and it's in its embryonic stage. So I'm hoping, if not this year, maybe next year, I'll give one like that.
All right, so
A new one.
Yeah, and you're coming up. We're going to talk about this later. I think you're going to be coming up to this area in April.
I am,
and you're going to be. Are you hosting?
I'm the host, but I'm also going to be doing a presentation.
Okay. On which day? Day 2?
Sure.
Is it social networking or?
Yeah, it's the second day.
Okay,
I do know
so
that.
that's
But I am
going to be
hosting,
the all pro day.
I'll be the host for the event, and I'll be presenting something.
Looking forward to that. So now I also know you have some other besides April where you're coming up to talk to my group and the group in my area. I should say is what other places are you going to be speaking? Are you going to Marquee?
I will be at the Marquee DJ and photo booth show in Chicago, Illinois. It's put on by Keith Kokoros in Chicago. I attended it as an attendee last year. I loved it. I thought it was a great combination of education, seminar, the seminars and the exhibit hall, and the networking there. It was big enough that you were always meeting someone new or having new conversations, but it wasn't too big where you missed a lot of people. It was like really a great size. It's obviously well located centrally. But this year, I am presenting a seminar, and I'm going to be giving my own game seminar presentation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And what's going to be a little different is instead of it just being game, I'm going to take a little bit of time and talk about some of the mechanics of how to create a game, what I look for to making a good game.
Science.
The science and
sent you the text
psychology.
about that. I was like, dude, we need to do something.
Yeah, I'm doing that, and
awesome.
Jerry Siracusa from Golden Note Entertainment, New Jersey, is going to co-host and be a part of that seminar with me.
Nice. Now, I'm going to ask this to probably every guest that comes on.
Oh boy.
Now this is a real easy one. I asked this to Jake in January. How have you seen game? Now I got to ask, how long have you been an entertainer?
25 years. I started May of 1997.
So your answer may be a little bit similar to Jake's in this. And from the time you started playing games at events until now, how have you seen them evolve?
I've seen them evolve in terms of, I think there's more props being used in some games, especially bar and bat mitzvahs. I see more pop culture references or technology. I mean, lots of people using, how do I utilize the computer, the phone that's in my hand, that every kid or every guest is carrying with them. I've seen a lot of that. I've seen also a divergence recently where more games I think are being created that use fewer props. How can I create a fun game without hauling the Foot Locker full of gear?
Yeah.
You and I both will do that, but myself included, I've presented games where it's as few props as possible.
Yeah, I'm a low prop guy.
Right. So I do think there was like this arms race of how elaborate and how crazy the games can get, and now it's shifting to how fun can I make it with as little stuff and as little setup as possible?
Yeah.
So those are some of the evolutions I've seen. I think right now you're in a good balance of props, no props, maybe one prop.
How do you play test your games? Now, I have a big family. I have 5 kids. I've got nieces and nephews. One of my sons is in college, and he's got a group of like 5, 8 kids that hang out. Every now and then I may, hey, come on over. I need to test something out. How do you test your games out?
So when I was married, sometimes my wife at the time, girlfriend previous, I would utilize her as a crash test dummy.
I'm sorry. That's
so
it is.
Also, at the various companies I've worked at, usually it's the staff. So if we have DJ assistants, if we have crowd motivators or dance floor assistants, utilizing them. If we had like a staff meeting, hey, I've got this new idea, let me test it out on you, beta test it. What's nice now is our event group company, being that we have a large warehouse full of rental equipment, there's still plenty of floor space that I have a climate controlled indoor testing ground laboratory where I can do anything I want in it.
And you got the employees to come in
and I can drag a couple employees, and we can set if I need to shoot video of it. So I do have basically a lab. If I need to test out games, I can do it there.
What is your favorite age group to play games with?
You know, to be honest, if I have the right crowd, give me a crowd of adults. Because with a crowd of adults, I think you can inject more humor and fun messing with the crowd and utilizing the microphone. Like, I do feel confident with a mic in my hand. So if I can have a fun, engaging game, but I can, you know, play off of the crowd and play off of their reactions, because some of the kids that have bar mitzvah, not only the offended part, but they're more reserved about letting loose or letting it fly. Where adults at an event, if you're at a corporate event and they're kind of letting loose and cutting loose with their coworkers, I mean, it might take them a little to open up, but once they do, you can really have a lot of fun with them. So you know, honestly, a lot of times the adults can be hysterical and a lot of fun, and you can mess with them, and they're almost better than the kids sometimes when you get the right group of them.
Do you do game only parties where like the music really is the total background and has very little to do there?
Yeah, we have.
How do those go?
They usually go very well because they're well planned out, not only by us, but by the client or company that's hiring us. They are actively telling their employees or their organization, we're going to have this event that is specifically a game night only evening.
So they go in with the right mindset.
They go in the mindset that they will not be dancing. They won't have to do line dances. There's none of that, but they're going to have fun playing games. And we will structure the games however they want. How many team games do you want? Partner games, solo games, prop games? Do you want us to keep score? Is there going to be, you know, we'll start going through the mechanics of how much of this are we turning into a game show, or are we just ripping through one game after the other just to entertain?
So that's a good point for a lot of people out there, even if you're not in the entertainment field, but you know, maybe a teacher, you're looking for something to do as a side hustle. Go ahead, put together a game night. And literally what a lot of people don't realize is you can do it may take an hour to do 4 games.
It could.
So you literally only need 15 games to do a 3-hour party. And that doesn't even include maybe taking a break in there in case they have snacks or something like that.
Or if they even have, you know, like some kind of like presentation, or a staff member is going to address the attendees in attendance, or any other types of things and breaks that can chew up time and take away from the performance time. So yeah, I mean, you can easily fill a time.
And you can actually use the same game 2 or 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
So you're doing that same game for a half hour, 40 minutes, because it's just such a big hit.
Right.
Everybody wants to do it. So, you know, like we were saying, that heads and tails that I love telling people about, that game can go on for maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. But I've done parties for father-daughter dances where they wanted to do that 4 times.
Right.
Because there's always a different winner.
Right.
You never have the same one.
Right.
And something like that. So, all right, what is your funniest game memory?
I figured you were going to ask something like this. Off the top of my head, the funniest one was just a simple reply that a guest had. I was playing a word association game called Tip of Your Tongue. And Tip of Your Tongue will have a row, you know, 2 rows of people facing each other, you know, back to back, and they're all lined up, and I'm in the middle. And I'll ask them a category. Name something that fits, you know, this category, and we alternate until you screw up or say something that's already been said. I might say something like, name a pizza topping. And we'll alternate sausage, pepperoni, pineapple, ham, bacon, whatever.
Right.
Someone stutters, pauses, hesitates, you're out, and the next person stays in the game. And I was playing this game actually at a bridal show of all places, and the brides were playing and some of the grooms were playing, and they were going to win door prize at the end, and it's just a way to entertain them. And I'm running through my categories, and one of the ones I have in my head that I used, they said, name something blue. And the young lady that was first up,
it's a family channel.
Yeah. The first thing that the young lady, the bride to my left, said was the sky. Okay, go to the groom, and he blurts out balls. And I just stopped dead in my tracks. I was like, you win, you're out. And we're done. Nothing stopping that. And I was in stitches for a good 30 seconds. And as silly and as funny and as simple as that is, that was one of the funniest things I had ever heard, because I wasn't mentally prepared to get that answer, and I hadn't gotten it before. But now when I play that game, if I say name something blue, I'm always in the back of my head thinking, is someone going to spit that out?
Right.
And I never lead them. I never kind of try to nudge them that direction. But in my head, I'm always prepared. Is someone going to pull that response out? And it hasn't happened again since, but that was easily the funniest I'd ever heard.
All right. Favorite game to play at a party for kids?
It's probably undefeated because it's so ubiquitous at mitzvahs. I love playing Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah.
I know there are people that absolutely hate that game. I love that game. I can get a lot of kids involved. It's interactive. I can tire them out. I can use up a lot of time. I can create my own themes for it. Like if we're doing a mitzvah that has a baseball theme, instead of it calling Coke and Pepsi, I might call it Mets and Yankees.
Okay.
And I will change all the sodas to baseball themed commands. So it makes it unique. It makes it specific to that event, but the concept's still the same. So I never get tired of that game.
All right. So we're going to change it up. Same question, but for adults.
It's probably that tip of your tongue game, mainly because I never know what an adult is going to say to some of the questions I ask, like the categories I give them. And it allows me to interject or insert humor and one-liners and snappy comebacks to what they say. And I do caution people, if you're an MC out there, using humor or jokes, you got to really know how to do it in a way where I'm not making fun of you, but we're all laughing together.
Right.
Or what's the line I can get to before I've gone too far? And I think after 25 years, I've figured out where that is, and knowing my audience and what environments I'm in and what I can and can't do. But as simple as that game is, no props, just me and a microphone and a group of people, I can keep just roaring.
Just a card with your categories on
Yeah.
there. All right, what's your tried and true go-to game?
We mentioned it before. Well, you know what? I mean, the quarter flip game, when Jake showed me that, and it came from Robbie Britton and it came from someone else before that is a tried and true winner. Another game that I absolutely love playing to this day is the tortilla flip game. I still love that game.
Do you have any video of that?
I do not. I'm sure there are people that were at that trade show that do.
If anybody has any video of that, what did you call it?
You really want me to say
no,
that out loud?
I don't. What do you call it now?
I just call it the tortilla flip game.
Okay, all right. It had it wasn't too colorful, but it
had a play on words.
Yeah.
It was like a little questionable.
But now it may be taken the wrong way.
Correct.
So we're just gonna call it the tortilla flip.
Tortilla flip game.
Anybody who was at the expo in 2016 who has video of that tortilla flip game that Mike demoed, if you have it and you want to send it to me, and I'll actually post it up.
And I'll even put out there, I did show it. I was asked to show a game. I was not an official presenter at Marquee last year. So out of the crowd, I had been asked ahead of time before I flew out if I would show one game. That was the one game I showed. So if you were at Marquee last year and you shot video of me doing it, give it to Todd. He'd love to see it.
I want to post it so everybody else can see, because it is actually hysterical. It's a great game, the tortilla flip. So we're going to do with that. So, all right, what do you have coming up? We're getting ready to wind things down here. What do you have coming up this year, both personally and professionally?
Professionally, between the two trade show appearances, the one in April up here in Saratoga with you and Mark and all the people that are traveling in this area. So I've got that. I've got Marquee in June. Obviously, DJX in August. Jake and I have been working and brainstorming some ideas. We kind of already have what our plan is for Wednesday night, like locked down. We're not telling anyone. We want to make sure we have all the boxes checked off before we publicly announce it.
Okay.
So we're super excited about that. And other than that, professionally, I'm just really excited about the Hudson Valley Event Group, the growth we've had, the growth we're expecting, and the staff that we have is incredible. Between Josh, myself, and the other senior staffers, they're incredible, and we're really excited about what the year's going to be. And then personally, it's just watching my daughter grow up, doing fun things with her.
How old is she?
She is 5 years old now.
Oh, she's rated that good.
Yeah, so just looking forward to spending time with her and doing fun things with her this year, and that's about it, man. Just doing my thing.
That is awesome. So normally I give you a choice of 3 games, but because you're actually here in person,
Oh boy.
I'm not going to give you a choice of 3 games. I'm gonna pull out one game here, and this game is called One Word Famous.
One word famous. I don't even know this game. Let's do it.
It's a trivia game.
I love trivia.
One Word Famous. I'm going to say one word from a movie, and you have to tell me what movie it's from.
Okay? One word from a movie.
Like, for instance, I'll give you an easy one right up front. Here's an easy one. We're going to do 3 of them.
Okay.
First one is Inconceivable.
Oh, Princess Bride.
Princess Bride. There you go. There you go.
All right. I'm a movie geek too, so I might do okay at this.
All right. So, boy, these are all easy. These are all easy. So, I'll give you. I know you're going to get this one right off the bat. Schwing.
Oh, Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. All right. Let me see if I have a hard one here. I do. Attica. Let me say it better. Attica.
I got nothing on that.
Oh, come on! Really? You're gonna not be happy when you hear this one.
What is it?
Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, dude, yeah.
That was right. 2 out of 3 is good. 2 out of 3.
Give me one more. Give me
you want one more?
Adrian. That's Rocky. Give me another one. Keep going.
Red Rum.
Red Rum. Was that Animal House?
No, Red Rum. What does Red Rum backwards spell? That should give it away right there.
Oh, murder.
Right. Jack Nicholson.
This was.
You had it.
The Shining.
The Shining. There you go. Knee.
What is it?
Knee.
Like your knee?
No, like knee.
That one I have no idea.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Do you know, I've seen it once. I'm not a huge Monty Python guy. I know people are going to be mad at me about that.
What I got 2 more. I got Con.
Boy, some of these are really obscure. They're not obscure. This
one is not. Actually, you should know it from what we were talking about.
Oh, it's Star Trek.
Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, I'm a Star Wars guy. Give me a small. I know every Star Wars one.
Yeah, that's why I gave Jake the option back in January. He took Star Wars.
I know, and he referenced me about Michael kill him if he missed something.
Let me see. There was Smokin'.
That one I don't even.
Jim Carrey, The Mask.
Oh my goodness! I saw that one. I saw half of that movie, and I was like, I don't like this. I turned it off.
Then Toga.
Oh, that's NYS.
Yeah. And then the last one I have is excellent.
Oh, Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted. Now you know all the geeky ones from back in the stuff. So that was One Word Famous.
I like that game.
This is Mike Alevras, and you're with me, Todd, from Party Games with Todd. We hope you had fun hanging out with us tonight, and
thanks for having me.
I'm glad you came over.
Yeah, man, let's do it again. I'm in.
I took after we talked to Jake, I took the rest of January off, and I took all of February off, so I didn't post anything. But now we're coming into March, and this is where all of our friends and everybody are going to start needing some game ideas and things like that. So we're going to start posting. I'm going to start March off with Mike. We're going to start it off right. And we're going to have a lot of great things coming at you. So don't forget, on YouTube, it's Party Games with Todd. Facebook, it's Party Games with Todd. And online, it's www.partygameswithtodd. So, folks, have fun. Remember, keep smiling, and game on. And now all I have to do is figure out how to turn this recorder off, and we're good to go. Peace.